day 3, the planned 5-day trip on the 85-mile loop, Susquehannock Trail system, the STS. So just to catch you up with where we're at, like I said, we're at camp over here. Becky, myself, and Tara, and good water source here. So yesterday we did 20 miles, pretty much exactly 20 miles yesterday. Rained overnight last night, so I had to get out at 12:30 in the morning to drop my pup because it was kind of unexpected rain. So far, kind of overcast day. We got roughly 16 miles to camp, but I know that campsite is not going to fit the 3 of us, so we'll probably have to go at least 17 miles today. And but we are going to stop in Cross Fork, Trail Town. They have like a mini mart type of thing with an attached bar/restaurant, and there's another bar/restaurant across the street. So I didn't have to bring a dinner for tonight, so I'll be having a hot meal there. All right, I'm taking some advice from something I read online, which is always a good idea. Making this breakfast meal. It's carnation breakfast drink mix, and well, in this case, I'm using Taster's Choice. So you put it in about that much water, and it's called a dirtbag mocha. It's supposed to taste really good. Let's see what happens. It actually wasn't too bad. All right, 8:36. One last check around here, and for some reason, I'm the last one out of camp. When I was the first one to kind of start packing. Oh well, let's get to it. We started off our day immediately with a climb that was over a mile long through a ton of stinging nettle. And then as soon as we got to the top, we dropped down off the other side into more stinging nettle. And I knew that this entire trail system was going to be a lot of stinging nettle just from the 4 miles that I was on of this trail last year. So I came up with an experiment. I went to Walmart and got the tallest socks I could find, like compression socks. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So these are as high up as they come, pretty close to my kneecap. So yeah, I think they kind of worked. I'll have a better idea by the end of the trail system, but yeah, I was mostly itching above the sock line, so seemed to kind of work. Oh yeah, and I do want to put a screenshot of that first climb we did this morning, the first ascent, intermediate descent. Put that in here, elevation profile. And we got to hike up that pipeline. Well, fortunately, it's only 75 degrees out here. I am tracking this with the Far Out app, and tracking with Gaia like I always do. But they do have this trail for the Far Out app. According to Far Out, this is a 1/4 mile straight up the hill, all out in the sun. But fortunately, we got some wind. Probably can hear the wind. And as far as the Far Out app, I used it for the Standing Stone Trail, and it was really accurate. For this trail, the mapping is accurate, but there's some things that are it's showing campsites that don't exist, and it's not showing all the water sources either. So just something to keep in mind for doing the Far Out for this STS trail. All right, here we go. This is the bottom of the hill. All right, just made it to the top. Fortunately, there's a breeze up here. I don't think we go all the way out to the next one. I think we drop down in this valley where there's water. All right, we just got off the pipeline. There's supposed to be water. I guess it's in those jugs up there. I guess that's our water source. This is nice. Look at the fire pit with the benches, firewood. We possibly make some hammocks work somewhere around here. Line for hanging, drying clothes. Let's see what else we got. We got some more lines up here with a note. Somebody's gonna have to read that for me because I don't have my glasses on. Look at this. This is even more decked out than the last one. Mm-hmm. Got a tent up here. Book spray, candle. hooks for hanging your bags. We're heading out. This is the 42.5 mile marker, so we're counting the little 4/10 of a mile approach trail to the main loop. We are at halfway point. Another thing, if you see all that swampy area, that's Scoville Run, I guess. That's listed as a water source on the Far Out app. So yeah, if it wasn't for those water jugs in the shelter, I assume somebody brought those down the power lines on some ATVs, then we wouldn't have had any water at this supposed water source. Yeah, there's no water down in there. It's not that you can get to. All right, finally hit the split. Donut hole and STS. All right, so the STS is coming down these people's driveway into the small town of Cross Fork. Over here is a bar/restaurant. Over here is a bar/restaurant and a convenience store, like a small general store. So this is our stop. I've been looking forward to this since we started the whole trip. This is gonna be great. Some non-trail food, some bar food for dinner. So right over here at the fire station, there's a water pump and there's restrooms. So we came up and filled up on our water over here, got rid of garbage. We got a little bit of a road walk to get back on trail. We had some good meals over here at Deb's Cross Fork Inn, and a few drinks. And then we came across the street and got some resupply over here at Kinney's. The guy down here in the white shirt, he works at the Ole Bull State Park. And he said, I saw you guys yesterday at Ole Bull. And he said he recognized me because of my hat, because of my buff. Here is Kettle Creek, much lower than last time I was up here. So hopefully we won't have a problem crossing Hammersley Fork. Biggest little town in the world. All right, 5 o'clock, end of the road walk. We're going into the woods here. We got 2 miles uphill. All right, we just made it to the top of the climb. We saw the first 2 other hikers of the entire trip, 3 days. They were coming down the hill, and they said, when we make this left turn up here, there's a bush. There's like 5 huge rattlesnakes on both sides of the trail. They said they had to turn around and go back down to Cross Fork. So I don't know what's going to happen when we get up here. At 6:30, we're coming down the ravine. The guy said those rattlesnakes were up on the flat part, but we didn't see them. So I did want to mention that we are in what's called the Hammersley Wild Area, which is a section within the Susquehannock State Forest. And there are no roads that go through this section. And if you go in the center of this is the most remote place in Pennsylvania you can get from any roads, including forest roads. So, yeah, hopefully nothing goes wrong. In the fading light here of day 3, it's 8 o'clock, 69 degrees, and we made it to camp. The high today said 90 on the thermodrop. I don't know. Maybe when we were out in the sun on that power line walk. So I'm set up over here. I got my tarp still drying from last night over here. I'll put that up later. It's still wet. I'm trying to keep my quilts dry. This is Hammersley Fork over here, the big creek. Becky's tent is down there. Tara's over here. And this is a really nice setup with this fire pit and rock chair. But there's just not enough wood down here, so we're just gonna not have a fire tonight. Got the fireball chilling in the fridge down there. And yeah, I think that's about it for the evening. All right, 8:30, camp's all packed up. And looks like we're about ready to go. We got to start our day off with this climb up to the trail, but then it should be pretty easy for a while. I think we're doing about 19 today, something like that. I don't know. Last night, there was just a slight chance of rain, so I did put my tarp up, put it in porch mode, and it never rained. Well, wouldn't you know, the night before, there was only a very slight chance of rain. So I just put the tarp up, left it in the snake skins, and it stormed all night. I had to get out of my hammock at 12:30 in the morning to deploy my tarp really quick. Okay, so we got across to this little island here. This is the back channel of Hammersley Fork. We did manage to get across it last fall. If you haven't watched my Hammersley Fork or Hammersley Wild Area video, check that out. All right, so this is like the main crossing. Wow, this is like night and day. We had there was a remnants of some hurricane, and it dumped a bunch of water here. Right around here is where Jenkins put his pool in the water. It's shaking like this from the current, and we would have died if we tried crossing here. Just had our first odd encounter, I guess, of the day. After 56 miles, we finally saw our second group of backpackers. But the stranger thing was that there were 4 Amish guys backpacking. And they were backpacks, they weren't day packs. So, yeah, I didn't know Amish backpack, but apparently they do. This is Saturday. I think they'd be tending the fields, but I don't know if they get the weekends off like an office worker, maybe. I don't know. It's time for the song of the day, I guess. It's actually the second song I've had in my head today, but let's make this one official. Dawn Henley, all she wants to do is dance.
Usually it doesn't.
Okay, so ever since we left the road over by Cross Fork yesterday, this is the first man-made thing we've seen. This is McConnell Road, and when I say man-made things, there's no utilities or nothing other than that one pipeline, and the only other man-made things were like rock chairs and fire pits and the plastic mile markers for 10 straight miles, exactly 10 miles. Okay, this is right off the road, Gravel Lick Shelter, and this one's loaded just like the other two that we saw.
Not quite as fancy, but there is a temperature gauge. Why isn't there any undergrowth?
No tent in this one.
There's no undergrowth. It looks like fucking winter out here.
Whoops.
Holy shit.
Tearing the place down. Here's your fire pit. Maybe make a few hammocks work. Not so great for tents. There's an elk right on the trail up here. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. Yeah, it's an elk. You see the other ones down there? That's so cool. It's looking right at us. There's some kind of tapping noise going on in the woods. I don't know if that's the male. So this one's not going to move. I'm going to see what happens when I get closer. You know what? Let me get my pepper spray out just in case. In case this thing comes back at me. There goes nothing. You can see there's at least 3 more down here. I don't see any males. Okay, cool. This one's walking off the path. No problems there. There's a ton of them. There's a whole herd of them. One up in front. Isn't that a smaller one?
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to be protective. Just passing through. Everything's cool. Oh, look at right on the trail again. Yeah, Mama with some young ones. Hi, how's it going? Okay, these ones went up on the hillside. They're watching us from up on the hill now. So we got maybe 2 mamas and 2 babies up there, and mama and baby over there. There's the bull. There's the bull right there. Look at them horns. So there's a smaller bull just come across the creek, heading up toward the trail. Well, I don't want either balls or bullets to come flying at me.
Your balls to yourself. Your ball, Mike.
There's one of the balls. There's a house over there, so this guy just whacks golf balls into the woods.
Golf ball. Are you taking it? No, you want one? Okay. Hey, we just saw a herd of elk. Oh, yeah, that's so cool. Thanks for not shooting.
Long distance shooting. We got on this road walk. I don't know if that's the guy's driveway or whatever for almost a mile now. There is this big creek down here, completely not a drop of water in it. Just like the last big one. I don't know what's up with the drought, but all that rain we had 2 nights ago should have at least put some water in there. And it hasn't been it hasn't been in the 90s to dry everything up. I don't know what's going on. We have special privileges. Okay, old stove, a deteriorating STS landmark. Not really sure what the story is with this. Must have been an old stove here, I guess. That was the end of our last big climb, I think, of the day. It was not too bad. Did not do much research for this trail. I looked at the first paragraph of the Wikipedia for it, and it's, I think it was laid out as a big loop in like the 60s. I'll put the date in here, but it just occurred to me. We've been seeing all these trail signs, like this is Tower Trail, and the Spooky Hollow, or Spooky Trail or whatever. So I guess they linked all these smaller trails into one big loop. That's why it's Susquehannock Trail system, apparently. All right, so we just came out onto this road. If we continue straight, that would of course be the STS. But Becky read a blog somewhere that said if we go this way to the 71-mile mark campsite, there is a really steep hill that's just completely covered in stinging nettles. So she found this alternate route. It's going to take us an extra 3 miles this way. It's not all road walk, but it'll put us at a 74-mile campsite, which will only give us 9 miles out tomorrow instead of 12. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so we got Larson Trail straight ahead. That's Larson Trail right there, somewhere in there. 8:30, looks like 60 degrees. Just getting out of camp. And we had this fire pit here, barely running stream, but we were able to get water, 1 rock chair. And we got about 9 miles to go to the cars, about 3 miles to Patterson State Park. Let's do it. Not even 5 minutes into things, and we already got soaked feet from walking through this field. But it's a nice view. And being a field, there's no orange blazes, so let me check where we're at. Well, we walked up into that field and got wet feet for nothing. We missed the turn, right? Just immediately out of camp, we missed the turn. It follows this dry creek bed right now. So, don't know what you do here if this was flowing. All right, coming out into Patterson State Park. And we got restrooms right here next to the trail. Awesome. Somebody cooking some breakfast. Maybe we can get some trail magic. Hey, Becky, see if we can get some trail magic breakfast. What I just did. I don't know how Tara got across. I don't see footprints. We'll see what we can do. I've had a couple songs bouncing around in my head this morning, but I'm just going to pick the first one that was in my head when I woke up and make it the song of the day. It's going to be Kenny Rogers, The Gambler. As you saw me stepping ankle deep in that mud, probably, well, more than that, I just passed a huge pile of bear crap right in the middle of the trail, which I don't think I told the story of, I think it was on day 2 of this trip. When I stepped, I wasn't paying attention, I stepped right in a huge pile of bear crap. So my shoes are getting a workout on this one. We got the Sunken Branch Shelter. It's right here on this access road. I'm sure people come up here on ATVs and stuff and party up here. We just heard a couple ATVs. Well, we got water in the shelter though, that's good. Because the creek does not exist. Getting close now. We did it, back at mile 0. We are finally on the approach trail back to the parking lot. About 4/10 of a mile from here to the parking lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up here. As far as the trail itself, it's definitely not a beginner trail. It's not even, I would consider it more than moderate, but not to the extreme difficult. I would say it's more moderate difficult compared to some of the other trails I've done. And you know the deal, I'm going to put down the stats for day 1 right here. Day 2 here. Day 3. Day 4. Day 5. And then the GPS screenshot of the entire loop, plus this little approach trail. Adding up all the totals, elevation-wise and such, mileage. And okay, as far as the elevation, yeah, there's definitely some good climbs, but we went clockwise, and there was one downhill that we did, which is probably the most difficult downhill, if you want to consider a downhill difficult, that I've ever done that I can remember. The trail itself, certain sections are very well maintained, certain sections need some TLC, and we're doing this in late August, so stinging nettles are out in abundance. A lot of areas of some areas of thick ferns. It's been pretty dry recently, so we didn't have too much problems with the mud, other than that logging road that I stepped in the mud today. Average number of down trees, blowdowns, but the trail people seem to kind of get out and get to those. Seems like when they know about them. And this is not a very popular trail. I think we saw 8 total hikers, backpackers, the entire 5 days. As far as water crossings, you can pretty much do it with keeping your feet dry. It depends on when you're going out. Now, it's not been a lot of rain around here recently, so we were able to get across everything pretty easily. But last time I was up here, like I said, the Hammersley Fork, we couldn't get across. And the parking lot that we're headed to is where I would recommend parking your car. It's on the northern end of the loop at the park ranger's office. You just go in, fill out a form, just give them your vehicle information so they know what vehicles are supposed to be there, and emergency contact and your phone number and everything. They'll give you like a brand new paper map of the loop, which is pretty good actually. But the other parking option would be Cross Fork. That's unless you want to leave your car for 5 days or however many days on a forest road. Your only other option is to park in Cross Fork at the fire station. Now, if you don't want to use paper map, there's always this is on the Far Out app, which is what I was using. The map itself is very accurate, but some of the stuff needs updated. Some of the it shows campsites that don't exist. It doesn't show some campsites that do exist, and the same thing with the water sources. I would try to top off all your water when you get a chance on this trail. There are plenty of smaller side loops too. You can make some smaller loops out of it if you don't want to do the entire 85 or whatever it is. The shelters on this trail are some of the nicest shelters that I've ever seen. Very well decked out with all kinds of stuff you might need. But if you're planning on doing that, have a tent with you, because they are first come, first served. So if you don't get it first, you're going to be on the ground. I can't forget about the wildlife. First of all, the gnats have been ridiculous the entire 5 days. So I'm going to take a head net or something with you. I came into this fully expecting to see some rattlesnakes. We saw no rattlesnakes. We saw no snakes at all, not even a garter snake. Except Tara said she saw like a small mossy colored snake. She wasn't sure what it was. And I had a feeling we were going to see a bear, but we saw plenty of bear scat. There was something big running away from the shelter over at Spook Hollow, and Becky said she saw some big black animal running through there, so that might have been a bear, but we're not sure. And the coolest thing was the herd of elk. First time seeing some elk, that was really cool. And I can see the gate up ahead where the maintenance building is, and after that's the parking lot. And I can't think of anything else I want to add to this, so with that we'll call this one a wrap. And thanks for watching.